Okay. All right. So Vita towards open source interactive omni-modal multimodal LLM. So this paper is important because it's one amongst very few that have essentially attempted to make a model that is not bounded by modality and or use case. So omni-modality models are models that can essentially process any form of data. So they could process images, videos, text all at the same time, which most models now at this point in time cannot do, especially well. So here they're essentially trying to replicate GPT-4o through open source. So, and they say in this paper we introduce Vita, the first ever open source multimodal large language model, adept at simultaneous processing and analysis of video, image, text, and audio modalities. Starting from Mixtral 8x7b as a language foundation, we expand this Chinese vocabulary, followed by bilingual instruction tuning. We further endow the language model with visual and audio capabilities through two-stage multitask learning of multimodal alignment and instruction tuning. Basically, what that means is that there's three phases for learning, as we'll see soon. Vita demonstrates robust foundational capabilities of multilingual vision and audio understanding, as evidenced by its strong performance across a range of unimodal and multimodal benchmarks. That's interesting because it's been statistically proven that if you train a model with multiple modalities, the learning is going to port over to just one modality as well. So if you train a model on both images and text, if you were to only use text, no images, it would be better than it was if it was just trained using text. Beyond foundational capabilities, we have considered progress in enhancing the natural multimodal human-computer interaction experience. To the best of our knowledge, we are the first to exploit non-awakening interaction and audio interruption. So they're trying to integrate the ability for you to interrupt the LLM in real time, which is kind of how humans talk. Humans interrupt each other all the time. And if you interrupt most audio agents now, what tends to happen is they simply just break, and that's not very good. Like if you use GPT-4o now, or if you use 11 Labs or Blend.ai, like all these audio providers, they don't work if you interrupt them. So they design additional state tokens, corresponding training data and strategies. The deployment of Vita employs a duplex scheme where one model is responsible for generating responses to user queries, and the other continuously tracks environment inputs, selectively outputting new responses with new updated interactions. This allows Vita to feature impressive human-machine interaction functionalities such as non-awakening interaction and audio interrupt interaction. Vita is the first step for the open source community to explore the seamless integration of multimodal understanding and interaction. Introduction. GPT-4o has advanced multimodal LLMs with two key attributes: a unified framework that processes text, vision, and audio signals in an end-to-end manner, and the capability to enable natural multimodal human-computer interaction. These breakthroughs have established a new standard in the discipline. However, there's a conspicuous absence of open source models that echo these highlights. Interaction of Vita. So, hey Siri, there's a wake-up word or button. I'm a junior voice assistant. What can I do for you? Wait until agent finishes replying. Interruptible audio support. What is the capital of France? The capital of France is Paris. Now, multimodal input support. The video you took is beautiful. It's a well-captured moment that showcases your photograph skills effectively. Then the person says, how do I take better videos? Taking better video involves several key elements. Here, blah, blah, blah. Interrupt and reply till the last question. Forget it. It's too difficult. Take a look at my current clothes and give me some outfit suggestions. Black top, blue jeans. Yeah. So that should show you why most assistants now are just bad because they don't process every modality and they're not multimodally intelligent. So figure one.
I gotta say, I hate the fact that they assigned the word multi-modality to this. Because, like, now we're stuck calling multiple module LLM architectures multi-modulo architectures because of the similarity between the two terms.
Yeah, man. People are just creating a bunch of words for stuff here.
Oh, dude, if you remember that written guy from Yannick Killinger's server, that is like his single biggest piss off about the hype. He like did an hour-long podcast where a good part of it is just him talking about the fact that it's all these people coming in because of the hype and just making up whatever the fuck they want. And actually, the whole reason I managed to make friends with Critton was because David Shapiro had blatantly mixed up the definition of agent and cognitive architecture. And all of a sudden, Critton just started going off on it, like right after I stopped liking Dave. So me and him kind of were like, oh yeah, Dave.
That's funny. Yeah,
well,
man.
It's bad, right? Because you have these people that have devoted 10 to 20 to 40 years of their life to working on this field and this project to make AGI. And then you come in, and because a bunch of hype guys are using all the words inaccurately, suddenly you don't have the ability to talk to the experts. And granted, a lot of the experts are really annoying curmudgeons that don't want to believe anything's happening, like round peg can only go through round hole, freak out if they see it get pushed through a square hole kind of thing, right? But at the same time, they are still the experts that laid the foundation you're trying to build on. And if you can't learn how to like figure out the dimensions of the blocks they were building with because you can't even talk to them, you're half fucked.
Yeah. It is how it is.
Yep.
Interaction of Vita. Traditional audio interaction requires a predefined wake-up word. So that's like saying, hey Siri. Every time you ask a question or a button to control the input questions. The human-computer interaction is always blocked when the model generates output, as the previous system can only respond to input queries sequentially. By contrast, on the one hand, unlike previous methods where audio, text, vision are always separated, Vita supports these modalities end-to-end. On the other hand, Vita makes two contributions to multimodal interaction. Non-awakening interaction, Vita automatically filters background noise like non-query human voices, thereby eliminating the need for a wake-up word and the button. Avoid interrupt interaction. If the user interrupts with another question, the generation process is paused and another model responds to the query. So they're introducing Vita, and there's 3 steps. Bilingual instruction tuning. Mistral 8x7b lacks proficient Chinese language. They expand the vocabulary of the base model and continue with further instruction tuning using high-quality bilingual text corpus. Then the second stage is multimodal alignment. To align the text feature space with video, image, and audio, we collect a massive high-quality multimodal data to align individual encoders and connectors, which process different modalities respectively. Multimodal instruction tuning datasets are meticulously constructed while giving Vita a powerful multimodal foundation capability. They teach you to recognize the type of input queries end-to-end by introducing a state token that makes it possible to interact without audio awakening while inference. Development with duplex pipeline. In terms of model deployment, we introduce a duplex scheme. 2 Vita models are deployed simultaneously. One is responsible for generating responses to the current audio query, and then another continuously monitors for the new one. If any, the current generation is interrupted and the model outputs the response to the new query. So the contributions are as follows. They develop an open source high-performance multimodal base model that supports video, image, text, and audio inputs in both Chinese and English. The model accepts either pure text audio inputs or video image combined with text audio inputs. They just design a comprehensive chaining process. And then this is the architecture. So on the left side here, we have 3 things going on. So we have the audios coming in, images coming in, videos coming in. They're all going to be encoded through specialized encoders. And then the text is going to go sent into the model. And then the output, so when the model generates something, it's going to generate these tokens. So these tokens are going to represent what audio to generate. So the one token here is query audio. The second one is noisy audio. The third one is query audio. And then this is going to generate, I think it's audio or text or both. So it might just be generating audio completely. So it's going to output tokens, and then we're going to parse the tokens, and then this is going to be sent to a text-to-speech toolkit. Now, monitoring. So in the monitoring one, we have environmental audio. It's going to be encoded. It goes to the Vita monitoring. This is also going to output a token with query and noisy audio. And then we're going to aggregate it. And then if there's an interruption, we're going to run the new model, basically. I have more questions on how this looks like, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. So the Vita here, when they talk about Vita, this is actually Mistral. So this is the Mistral backbone they were talking about. And then we'll get into the encoders pretty soon. So Vita is capable of processing inputs in the form of pure text, images, video. They set different state tokens for different query inputs. Number 1 corresponds to the effective query audio, such as what is the biggest animal in the world, for which we expect a response from the model. 2 corresponds to the noisy audio, such as someone in the environment calls me to eat, for which the model expects not to reply. Number 3 responds to the query text, the question given by the user in text form. During the training phase, we try to teach the model to automatically distinguish between input queries. During the deployment phase with number 2, we can implement non-awakening interaction. Based on this, we further introduced a duplex scheme for the audio interruption interaction. 2 models are running at the same time, where the generation model is responsible for handling user queries. When the generation model starts working, the other model monitors the environment. If the user interrupts with another audio query, the monitoring model aggregates the historical context to respond to the latest query. They basically swap identities. By introducing a state token, the model can automatically identify the type of the input audio to achieve non-awakening interaction. They fully open source everything, but there's no code on the GitHub. So that's kind of a problem. You can't open source something if there's no code for it. So, yeah. Then here they talk about some models, which is really interesting. Training pipeline. So this is very interesting. So there's multiple stages. There's stage 1. Bilingual text corpus. We sent that to the model. The model is going to be trained, and then it'll output instruction tuning. The second stage, modality alignment, is the so we have images, video, text, and the images and video are going to output. They're going to be encoded. Then they're going to be fused together with an MLP. The encoder is frozen, so we're going to take a pre-trained one. Then we're going to send that into Vita, and then Vita is going to output the output, and then text is going to go in. Here, we have audio being encoded. I have generated the code for the audio encoder, and I'll show you what that looks like, because I think that might be something very useful for us. And Vita is frozen here. So frozen means that the model is not going to be trained. We're only doing inference, basically. Then stage 3, multimodal instruction tuning. Again, same slide from the last one. So The first stage, enhance Mistral 8x7B by expanding vocabulary size and fine-tuning it with a high-quality text corpus. So that's what the fire sign means. The second stage, multimodal alignment, connects individual encoders with the LLM to process modalities. By amassing a substantial collection of high-caliber multimodal data, we synchronize the text feature space with that of video, image, and audio. The last stage allows the model to follow text or audio instructions to understand the image or video. Blah, blah, blah. They expand the vocabulary size from 32,000 to 51,000. So what this means is the LLM has a vocabulary size. There's a certain number of tokens that it can generate. For example, the entire English alphabet is only about maybe 30 different tokens. Then there's emojis and a whole bunch of different weird symbols. In this case, Chinese. So that's how the LLM essentially works. Now the visual encoder, which is very interesting, is they use InteractiveOmni 300M as the visual encoder. This might be very useful for future models in this area. So it accepts a 448 by 448 images input, generating 256 tokens after using a visual connector that is simply a two-layer, multi-layer perception. For high-resolution image input, we implement the dynamic patching strategy to capture local details. Videos are treated as special cases of images. If the video length is less than 4 seconds, we uniformly sample 4 frames. If the video length is between 4 and 16 seconds, we sample 1 frame per second. For longer videos than 16 seconds, we sample 16 frames. Yeah. I'm probably going to try implementing that later. So visual alignment. GPT-4 generated data from shared GPT.
Yeah, and I think technically, well, a lot of this is just the voice aspect and not screen control, I guess. But we might be able to use OS World to benchmark this if we built it. Because that's what that was technically about. I'm pretty sure the code had a bunch of stuff for screen control and whatnot, but technically the paper was about a benchmarking environment for screen control and voice agents. So.
Can you share that in the chat? Let's see what else. These are some of the prompts they have. Not very important. Just basically saying, what to do. I'll probably post those prompts in the Swarms Marketplace later. Actually, I'll just do it right now. Let's see. What is this one? Vita. Okay, Vita image system prompt. So it supports longer context lengths. Let's see. Okay, audio modality. Okay, this is good. I find this very valuable. The audio input is initially processed through a mail filter bank block Let's look to see what the hell this is. So this is a lot of, like radio frequency processing, like a bunch of old frequency processing shit. Audio signal framing, blah, blah, blah. Dude, this shit looks so complicated. Fuck. So it goes through this. The block breaks down the audio signal into individual frequency bands on the melt frequency scale, mimicking the nonlinear human perception of sound. Subsequently, they utilize 4 convolutional neural net downsampling layers followed by 24 layers of transformers, totaling 341 parameters. To process the input features, we employ a simple 2-layer MLP as the audio text modality connector. That is, you need a connector to bridge the 2 different modalities. In the end, each 2 seconds of audio input is encoded as 25 tokens. Audio alignment. For one of the alignment tasks, we have opted for automatic speech recognition. ASR, our dataset, includes 1-net speech, encompasses 10,000 hours of multi-speech domain recognition data, with a focus on Chinese speech, which is probably very hard.
Well, if you don't know, Chinese speech, technically every word has 4 different tonal meanings depending on how it's pronounced. So the possible bit rate for Chinese is fucking insane because literally one word has 4 definitions.
Yeah. Fuck, that's hard.
I think that actually though offers a possible bit rate increase for English, because we do use tonality in English, but we use it to convey the emotion of a word rather than change the definition. But the way we encode written text language doesn't include any of that. So I think written English's bit rate could actually be improved if you assigned different tonal emotions, different colors, and then when you have an LLM recording the speech from people into text format, storing the emotion value for a section of the text as color coding on the text. So that then humans who are also knowledgeable in the color coding pattern can access this bitrate information by reading it. It'd be almost impossible for humans to write this way because you'd need a pile of fucking crayons. But you could have it encoded automatically so this info's stored in the color format.
Yeah, that's dude, Chinese ML is hard. I'm surprised this works at all. We probably have to do more research to see how we can teach the LLMs to learn other languages like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the training process, they have the 3 types of queries or the outputs. So the query audio is a question. The question is initiated by audio, noisy audio. The input is audio but does not contain a question. The question is initiated by text. So based on these query types, they design 3 state tokens, 1, 2, 3. During the training phase, they insert corresponding state tokens at the beginning of the answers, allowing the model to flexibly handle different interactive behaviors. State token 1 denotes that the question input is the query audio. In this case, the output of the model needs to be presented to the user either as text or speech converted by text-to-speech tools. So the model does not natively generate speech from what I see. State token indicators that the question input is the noisy audio. The model should output an end of sequence token as a terminator, which means it's a token that simply just ends the sequence. However, we observe that abruptly terminating the output during training can degrade performance. They send the text corresponding to the noisy audio to an LLM and uses its output text as the training target. State token 3 signifies the question of pure text, which is to distinguish between the two queries in the training set. During training, both visual and audio encoders are frozen. Non-awakening interaction. Non-awakening interaction implies that the model can be activated and respond to user audio questions in the environment without the need for a wake-up word or button. Real-life tracking of environmental sounds. This involves determining whether the audio convert constitutes human speech, filtering out noisy audio. So we talk about these data sets. Their Mistral outperforms the regular one because of the fine-tuning. Audio interaction. We already talked about that. So evaluation, their model does good on some multimodal benchmarks, almost passing Gemini 1.5 Pro, but not really. It's third place most of the time. Yeah, in fact, most time it's third place instead of on the video processing. So that's pretty good because it's open source. Yeah.
Well, actually, that's really good because technically, even if it's only coming in third, if it's doing local video processing, it's still doing something that the other ones aren't, which it's not getting scored for, which is it's doing uncensored video processing, technically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's like, say you're doing some research and you got your screen agent on and all your stuff getting sent to OpenAI. Do you really want it to make a refusal because your girlfriend walks by in her underwear to go grab a dress if your computer's in your room or something, and the screen agent happens to catch that in the background, and it's just suddenly oh, I'm sorry, I can't output, and it's why? And it's oh, there's a woman in the frame, and it's God damn your fucking censorship.
Yeah. No, that's the thing with open source, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Mostly, top 3 except video, mostly. OCR Bench is a benchmark for OCR tasks, which is mostly analyzing documents. They don't have any Chinese benchmarks, so that's interesting. So conclusion, they basically build a model, open source, integrates video, images, text, audio, and into a unified framework with advanced interactive experience. They pioneer in multimodal interactions, and they build an end-to-end text-to-speech in conjunction with an LLM. And it basically converts LLM-generated text into speech, which is quite time-consuming. If text-to-speech can be combined with LLM to achieve end-to-end speech output, it may greatly boost the real-time interaction. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the paper. Now, for next steps, I would like to implement the video. I like to implement the video processor and make that very easy to use. Yeah. Let's see if we can implement this now. This is useful because you might be able to encode other videos, and any video encoding is very not a lot of people are working on it right now, which is a problem.
Yep.
So we're gonna tell ChatGPT to implement the video encoder now. Now, hopefully this will work. Let's see if it works. I'll be very surprised if this works. Test encoder. Shit.
Are you only using GPT-4 for automated coding, or are you using Claude at all?
Claude isn't that good for coding.
Really?
Yeah. GPT-4o is really good.
Because I've still always found the best results being passing code back and forth between models for whatever the fuck they're calling it now. Technically just mixture of experts at the agent level.
It's a mixture of experts at the agent level. I thought a mixture of experts was a model architecture.
No, mixture of experts is just when you get multiple fucking people in a room. And then these fucking goddamn white papers guys can't fucking understand multi-definition level fucking thinking because they only have one fucking iota of brain cells, despite how brilliant they are. They have very limited bit rate. So they're like, oh, we need to rename everything. If it's all agents inside the sim, it's got to be mixture of agents. And then technically, if it's an individual agent running in a fucking different LLM, they'd want to have a unique name for it too, instead of just lumping it all under mixture of experts. And then having mixture of experts be a term with multiple subtypes. No, they got to have individual terms for fucking everything. Problem being, the white paper guys are usually discovering this stuff like 6 to 12 months after somebody in open source discovered it. And then they're trying to name it like they're the ones who discovered it when people have been using it for a good while. I've got confirmation that technically instantizing what they call like mixture of agents as the in LLM version of mixture of experts was discovered back in like 2022.
Right. Mixture of agents. Is that just taking the idea of mixture of experts and applying it to agents?
Exactly. That's what I said. A mixture of experts is literally what it describes. It's a mixture of a bunch of different experts. It's not just a model training technique. This is why having a lot of computer scientists that don't have a background in linguistics is not a good thing.
I thought that was just the idea of agents is just getting LLMs, like various LLMs, and sort of like stitching them together. So wouldn't it be called, I don't know, like wouldn't an agent be defined as like a mixture of LLMs, realistically? They're all just
an agent.
things.
An agent is specifically defined, as best I can define it, as a narrow task completion architecture. It's basically a hammer made to do it's a sledgehammer or it's a nail driving hammer. It's a very specific tool for one job.
All right, let's stop arguing over English stuff and start building stuff.
Well, what are you building, Kai?
I'm building the encoder from a paper we just read on omnimodality intelligence.
How's it going?
Well, we're about to see. I already made the audio encoder, but the video encoder remains, which is what you're looking at right now.
Yeah, nice.
So with this, we can process videos.
I wasn't here for the paper, obviously, so I can't really comment, but no, it sounds cool.
Let's see. Oh. There it is. That's the package.
Yeah, that's the one. I always have that issue. Actually, I wanted to ask, what's up with some libraries where the import name for the library is different than like the pip install name for the library? I don't know if you've ever noticed that. For the CV2, that's like a prime example. Another one is Whisper, where in the actual code you just say import Whisper, but when you're downloading it, you have to say pip install OpenAI-Whisper instead. So like the actual module that you're downloading is different than the one that you're importing. I always found that really weird.
You could specify that. For example, if the name is taken already by someone,
Yeah.
but you still want the name, then you can, maneuver that.
It's a bit annoying when the norm is that the main module that you import is the main module, that you install. And then some of the places have like just a completely different name.
Yeah. That's happened to me a bunch of times.
Anyway, it's like 2 a.m. here. Just wanted to check in how it's going, but I gotta go to sleep. So, see you guys.
It's 2 a.m.? Shit.
It is, yeah. You're in Australia.
Is it 12 hours ahead every single time?
Yeah, so it's 1:50 a.m. for me and then 11:50 a.m. for you. But for me, it's Tuesday. And then for you, it's just Monday. So.
Australia got third place in the Olympics.
Australia's doing well in the Olympics.
Probably because all the people that live in Australia are descendants from British prisoners.
Right. Therefore, we're good at the Olympics. Good reasoning. Why are you using Hugging Face? Why are you using Colab?
Because I don't have a GPU.
Don't you have like machines always available that you can just SSH into?
That is so much time.
That are like, is that really more time?
So much more time.
Damn. Thought it might have been like quicker.
Gotta find the password. Gotta get in there. It's a fucking mess. Anyways, I'm not training anything.
I have the password memorized.
Yeah, you see? Fuck, it works, maybe. Let's see. Alright, we need to download Tim. Alright, come on, Tim. Motherfucker. Alright, let's see if this
What
works.
projects are currently going on, by the way? Like that, are people using the GPUs for shit? Any cool things that are currently going on in the community, or?
Yeah, we have a bunch of people creating text-to-video models.
Text-to-video, nice.
So, we have like 3 different teams on that.
Right. Like a Sora, but like better, hopefully. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah. Mostly for waifu porn generation.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, we just...
The AI waifu market is estimated to be something like $10 billion.
I actually kind of... that's probably kind of an underestimate. It probably could be way more.
That's probably just for men. So yeah, it probably is an underestimate because women probably want even more.
What?
General usage shows that women actually want emotional chat bots that they can support, like talk to like boyfriends, even more than women or men want waifu bots.
Dude, that is the saddest and cringest and weirdest shit I've ever heard. I don't know why.
Not
an
really.
AI boyfriend
if
or
you
girlfriend
actually,
is like crazy.
no, honestly, what's really cringe is intentionally living in those beliefs and not building a chat agent to actually train yourself to do better conversation with, like a sim talking in the mirror, so that you can go out there and then actually meet somebody down the road. Because instead of just sitting in your house as like an awkward introvert, you actually build something that lets you develop social skills. Now that is beautiful.
That is terrible, and I can't believe you said that. There's no way
No,
that
no,
you just
honestly, dude,
advised for people to learn social skills by talking to their
yeah,
AI
no, the
thing as
reason
opposed to just going
the AI,
outside. That's
yeah, you're
absurd.
already proving why AI is a better emotional support agent than a human being by how you're responding to what I just said.
Absolutely not.
You're jumping straight to judgment, which is why people should be using AIs instead of humans, because humans do what you just
People
did.
should judge you for that statement.
No, no.
Absolutely.
You see, this is why I'm probably never even going to have a conversation with you in the future, because you're actually expressing some extremely disgusting views to how other people should operate, which in and of itself believes that you know better than what people